I don't even listen to it on recording. I just live there, so I listen to it when they record. I'm like playing Skyrim while they're talking about black bitches. That it's like, man, a black chick that's like 380 pounds, man, the ass on that bitch. I'm like, no, she's disgusting. Like black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. 400-pound women are gross.
You heard it first.
We got our stinger.
I don't know how else to put it. You know?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, on that note,
Are we recording now?
if we absolutely are recording.
Oh, okay. I don't take it back.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for another Last Call podcast. Tristan and I are both here as usual, but we also have two guests this time. If you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Eddie.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That was painfully awkward. All right, Dave, go ahead.
I'm Dave.
There you go. Now you know what Dave sounds like. We're off to a rip-roaring start here.
Write it down in your notebook, Eddie and Dave.
No, but you have to write it down with the awkward pause.
With an awkward
first.
pause.
Eddie.
It's like ellipses.
Comma. Dave.
I just want to make sure there's enough separation between you and I.
Oh man, yeah. Luckily this couch is big enough.
What does that mean?
We left the physical barrier out on purpose.
Do you want to put the unicorn between you?
Oh.
Oh yeah. Hit the Jafar sand. We got our
Jafar Sands.
That's our 1 hour marker that is to soon be ignored.
Jasmine was
Probably.
the hottest Disney princess, by the way. Just throwing it out there.
Oh.
Jasmine.
I would have
Get her
thought
all
she'd be
day.
a couple shades dark for you. But I thought you'd have gone Belle or even Snow White or something like that.
That was okay.
Probably
Snow
a
White's
blonde.
pretty hot.
Cinderella. That's your.
Cinderella's
thing,
a
right?
Yeah, more
busted-
Aryan.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, blue eyes, blonde hair.
Cinderella, she had like
Snow
what,
White?
4 lines in that movie. Take a walk.
How would Jasmine
Not
get
issue.
past your Muslim ban, though?
She's not Muslim. It's Indian. You douchebag. Get
You don't know
cultured.
that.
No,
they're
I'm pretty
not in
sure
India.
she's like Iraqi.
Iraqi.
From that
sultan.
area of the world. Yeah.
They didn't have sultans in India.
Yeah, definitely not Indian. Iraqi.
Jasmine's not
Iranian.
Indian.
What's
That-
that? No, Jasmine is not Indian. I assure you.
Do you remember hearing about that poll that they took where they asked people if you'd allow anyone into the country that was from Agrabah? and something like 70% of the
No.
people were like, absolutely not. It's like, you are not allowing people into this country from the fictional place from Aladdin.
Yeah, Prince Ali. You know any Indian people named Ali? I mean,
Yes.
like
Yes,
it's,
my 7-Eleven
it's
clerk
Alibaba
is
and the
named
40
Ali.
Thieves, right? Like that's
Apu,
like
Nasapina, Pinapine.
that's from the Middle East. That is a Middle Eastern thing. That is
We're
not
gonna have to look that
a
up. I don't
Southeast
know.
Asian thing.
Let's
Magic
be
carpet ride,
realistic,
Sultans.
though. We're American. We don't know what anything over
And
there.
at the end of the day, who fucking cares?
It's- Clearly.
That's fair.
Go back to your country.
We can't understand you. Quote, Eddie.
I hope we find out she's Syrian or something like that. Something that'll really irritate you.
Yeah. No, I'm curious. I wonder,
Really
I wonder where it's
disappoint
been.
you. I really want to send you home on a down note.
I'm still saying it's Indian based. I'm still saying it's
Shatter
Indian
histories.
based.
Oh, so a Hindu's okay.
Hindu's
That's
fine.
kosher? Okay. All right.
Hindu's
I
fine.
just want to be clear, that's all.
They're all fine, Dave. I don't have a problem with any of them.
Welcome to Racism
He's
Cast.
fine. He's fine with any
With
country
dot,
we can
dot,
exploit
Eddie.
for their cheap workforce. That's
Hey, they made their bed, not us.
So,
what do we want to do? Do we want to go through a few things first
I think
and then
so.
get these two fired up and then maybe kind of okay, I'm sorry. I just got to fish my phone out of my pocket. I've made a mistake here.
yeah.
What things happened this week? Oh, I did want to talk about this before we went into anything else. Did you work the bar on either Halloween or the kind of Saturday Halloween
Yeah.
weekend day?
I did work Halloween weekend, both Friday and Saturday.
I hate you more for having said that.
Yeah.
So you worked Friday and
Little
Saturday.
part of me
so
died.
so both of those, how was that?
it was pretty shitty. It was pretty shitty because I was dressed up as Mario,
Oh, that's awful.
and which at the beginning of the night was fine. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's awesome! I love Mario," because it's a very recognizable character. It's easy, whatever. It allows me to work and not have any issues. But then once all the drunks get going, and you have 15 drunk assholes going, "Hey, Mario, Mario,
Oh, Jesus.
Mario!" It's,
Oh, I'd put a bullet in my
it was
brain.
so bad, and some of them were regulars. So like some of the bartenders that have been there a little longer were like had to call people down for me because it's like it's not like Dimeback. I can't punch anybody in the face yet. So.
Is it like
I was right.
St. Patrick's Day?
It's inspired by the Taj Mahal from India.
Is it like St. Patrick's Day in that like it's like amateur night?
Jordan River, but the palace was inspired by the Taj Mahal.
Are you
You
still?
can't whisper. You're on a lav mic. It's like right here. You can't like sneak conversations with Dave.
Oh, okay.
What did you find out?
It's located near the Jordan River.
But the palace was inspired by the Taj Mahal in India.
The palace.
So I can understand
was-
why you'd be confused, but the Jordan River's in Syria.
Well,
Jordan.
it can be inspired by places close to the Jordan River, but the palace was like a big deal in fucking Aladdin.
It's a fucking cartoon.
It is fucking life when
A-
you're 8 years
A
old.
very good cartoon, by the way.
It was good. The sequel's awful.
Is
So,
Halloween amateur night for drinkers like
What,
St. Patrick's Day is?
It yes and no. I mean any drinking holiday or any holiday where you have an excuse to go to a bar does become a drinking holiday. But I don't know. I think the natural impedance of everybody being in costume slows some people down a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought it'd like speed people. Two of the drunkest times I've ever been in my life have been on Halloween. Maybe three.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why Halloween like brings the inner alcoholic out of me, but like two of the times I've been falling down drunk in my life, on which I can count on one hand, have been on Halloweens. So I just wondered if maybe that was everybody or just me because I'm an asshole.
I mean, it's like any other weekend. There's a fair number of drunks no matter
Okay.
what.
Okay, so it's not particularly bad. It's just kind of
No, it's certainly
outlandish
not.
in that everybody's just dressed up.
Yeah, it's certainly not to the level of St. Patrick's Day.
A little heavier volume.
Yeah, but it's all right.
How did that rank compared to Diamondback Halloween?
It's a little more. It was a little busier there for Halloween. I think they've sort of established themselves as more of a.
Halloween.
Yeah,
bar.
but who goes harder? I feel like my Diamondback crew goes harder on Halloween.
It could be a Monday night and Diamondback goes harder.
Goes harder. than-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how many times I had to kick people out, black out on Mondays. Like,
Yeah.
Mainly Dixon.
Well, that's the thing about Main Street is that you go down there on a Tuesday or a Thursday, and you got your day drinkers. All of us got day jobs. We all work 8-10 hours a day. Go down there and get
Except for
fucking
you,
hammer
you
face.
bum.
Well,
Well,
he worked at
lately.
that point.
Yeah,
He didn't retire until Diamondback closed.
that's true. I
Is
didn't.
that-
I didn't retire till about a year ago.
That's why you retired, isn't it?
Yeah, my life was over at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, no Dimeback. What's the point,
I'll just phone it
Forget
in from here on out.
right? Just order pizza and just buy my own beer.
So what did everyone else do for Halloween? Did you go out, Tristan? You had the kids, I assume. Had the deal.
No, well, so for Halloween,
Well, I guess
Halloween proper, I had the kids and we went out and did the trick or treating thing, and but Saturday I actually went out because my birthday occurs like the week before, and somebody came into town and they were like, "Hey, we should go out," so they talked me into it. So I went out Saturday night. It's probably been the first time I've been out for Halloween in a long time, and that's always kind of super weird. I went out in Fells Point, which is good because it's not like a super young crowd in there. Like it's not like I'm hanging out with a bunch of 22-year-olds. Like it's mostly people in their late 20s, early 30s who I don't want to say can handle their alcohol, but like it's not it's not a vomit fest in the street at the end of the night like some places are. Like if you went out in Fed Hill or over a power plant or something like that, by 1 a.m. it's like a goddamn war zone.
All right, so you probably saw a broader range of costumes But wait, was that when they were having their?
Yeah, I
Halloween
mean
too?
that was definitely like I'd say like 3/4 of people were in costume. I didn't because I have this like anytime it comes to Halloween, even if it's on Halloween itself, I have this terrible phobia that wherever I'm going to go, I'm going to be the only person in costume. So anytime I can go out and not be in costume, I take it. So I went in street clothes, and I you know, like I said, it's probably 1/4 people in street clothes, 3/4 kind of dressed up in costume. I didn't see anything that like blew me away that was like really great. There was a Bob's Burgers family that I was really excited about, but I was pretty drunk at that point. Man, there was one guy we saw. We tried to get his attention, but he kept going. I can't remember what he was.
But did you see any of the supposed like overused costumes? Like, did you see any Harambe's or how many
Harley Quinns.
Not as
Harley
much as
Quinns.
not as much as I thought. No Harambe's.
No
I
Harley
didn't see
Quinn.
any.
No
either.
Harambe's, and only maybe 2 Harley Quinns. One was a good Harley Quinn, and one was a not good Harley Quinn.
New Harley Quinn or old school legitimate Harley Quinn?
Oh, new Harley Quinn. Nobody's doing the old school.
So slut
No.
face Harley Quinn, like, doesn't count.
I mean, wasn't she always kind of slut face Harley Quinn? I mean, she wore like skin tight latex and like.
I don't know. The new Harley Quinn doesn't count for me.
I like the new Harley Quinn. I think it's a cool update on the character.
I
If you're
don't-
gonna put her in that movie, you can't put her in that costume. That doesn't
Yeah,
make
you
any
can't put
fucking
her
When
in
she
a
sense.
opens the
jester
That's
chest
like
in the
putting-
movie, she
that's
has
like
2
putting-
choices: the old costume and the new one.
Right, and that's a neat throwback to people who are upset about the costume change. But that'd be like putting Hugh Jackman in that fucking dopey yellow and black
That's a fair
uniform
comparison.
with
That's
the
a fair
ears on it. Like,
comparison.
I don't think you can do that. So I thought did they do the best they could? Probably not. You could have done something a little closer
I
to the
feel,
old
I
one.
feel like
but I
Harley
like the new
Quinn's
costume.
draw in the cartoons was not sex appeal. Was her?
I would hope not.
Well, no, but it wasn't. She didn't have a sex appeal. She was like very intelligent, and then she bought into the Joker's bullshit, and she went insane. That was the draw about Harley Quinn. A very smart woman and a very capable woman that's batshit crazy.
But she was batshit.
Bad shit.
But she was batshit
Yeah,
crazy
right.
for Joker. Like now, the version we saw in like Batman the Animated Series, she was more like a wacky secretary than like a girlfriend.
Right.
But there are other like iterations of that Harley Quinn where the whole thing's really sexually charged.
Well, I'll be honest
right?
with you. Watching Suicide Squad, like, disappointing 100%.
I haven't seen it yet, and I've
We
heard
didn't-
that's the case.
Yeah,
I
we
get
didn't.
it.
Neither of us bothered watching it. Did you? You didn't see it, did you? Dan?
I'll rent it when it comes out.
Exceptionally
That's about it.
disappointing. Like, in the negative.
I'll wait
on
till
1
it
to
shows
10.
up on Netflix or something.
It was awful.
A lot of people trying to do weird. Damn, what's the? I'm blanking out. The hit show on Netflix that just came out that was huge. With the little girl.
Oh, Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. A lot of people are trying to do weird Stranger Things costumes,
dumb.
which is kind of strange.
Or things.
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, it was like I don't know. Like I said, I was in a slightly older area, so like you didn't see quite the same number of like, you know, slutty nurse and slutty frog and slutty, you know, whatever, like all that kind of stuff. Like people were trying to be a little more clever, and after a while, when you've seen clever costumes for an hour and a half, you're like, all right, I've fucking had enough. Like, it's all kind of dopey, but you know, it's fun. Maybe I'm kind of an asshole about it.
Ed, what did you do? Did you just like put your Grand Wizard outfit on and pretend you were a ghost?
I put my red armband around my left shoulder, put my Wehrmacht uniform on, walked down the street at Catonsville, and I let those black people know.
Jesus
That's exactly
Christ!
what I did.
He just took that joke and ran it.
Is it awkward yet? No, that's not what happened.
No, I'm hoping it was a joke.
it was a joke.
You
For a
provided
second,
him. You provided him the perfect cover.
I was trying to make it awkward. It was a joke. I was at my dad's farm all day. If you want me to be honest, Halloween I was shoveling sheep shit all day.
In his Nazi uniform.
I wouldn't get that dirty doing that.
You're right.
Just
You're right.
grumbling and like
How dare I?
just grumbling in broken German. Like,
That's what the tattoos are for.
Schmetterling.
That way you know it's always over your
Hey,
heart.
we want to talk about tattoos. I don't have any. Am I the only person here that has
You
no
do
tattoos?
not look like a guy who wouldn't have any tattoos.
I have
I'll be
0
honest.
tattoos.
That is surprising.
No tattoos, no piercings.
That is very surprising.
Any-
Do you have
Anymore.
tattoos, Tristan?
Yeah.
You do? What do you got?
Yeah.
Tramp stamp.
I got.
You got a tramp stamp?
Yeah. It says enter here right above my.
You got the
my,
inner lip tattoo?
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
it says badass.
That'd be awesome.
American badass.
Insert
Yeah,
dick.
the
Insert
top
dick
lip
here,
America,
right in my
the
lower
bottom
lip.
lip badass.
You had piercings in high school, though.
I took them all out.
Okay, but you did have
Oh,
them
so
at
you
one
had some.
point.
You got to get professional at some point in time.
We're still
So
waiting.
what happened?
That cardigan doesn't cover it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's it's part of why. It's part of why I take
Well, no,
my,
I'm
If you
just.
throw an armband over a cardigan, you're still a fucking racist.
part of why I dig. It's
I'm
part
try-
of
I'm
why I dig
I'm
my
try-
tattoos,
I'm
man.
try-
Like you
I'm
throw a
trying to
shirt
ask
on over
this-
top of those, nobody knows.
I'm trying to ask this question without being confrontational, but do any of y'all regret any of your tattoos?
Most of them.
Most of them you do?
Not because of what I have, but because I got work done before I knew how good tattoos could be.
Okay.
My best tattoo, I had Halo from Black Lotus.
Okay.
He did the inside of my arm, and it's amazing. And it's my best tattoo, and it's on the inside of my arm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So
How about you, Tristan? You regret any of your tattoos?
I don't regret any of them. I have one that's shitty that I wish was better.
Okay.
I have my first one is on my back. It's a pair of crossed racing flags, and like I had a friend recommend to me, oh, go see this guy at this shop, and I went to that shop, and he was like, oh no, that guy's booked out for 6 months, but you can see fucking Devin 2 weeks from now.
Right.
I was like, yeah, I kind of want to get this
Gotcha,
done before I go to
gotcha.
the before I go to the
to think-
beach.
I like to think it was our Devin. Like,
I wish it was. That'd be amazing.
it'd probably be almost as
How
good.
about you, Dave? You got any that you're like, nah? Like, glad I got it at the time, but now,
Probably the first one I got.
and which is that?
It's a cross on my calf, but it just looks like a bunch of ink blobs.
Oh, yeah.
It was a $5 tattoo.
It was something cheap. Gotcha.
It was at a shop.
Why-
It broke
why
a
do-
record for most tattoos done by a shop in a day. I was 18.
Oh, and you got it done for $5. I get that. I mean,
Your
we
tattoo
all
broke a
fall
record,
into
though?
these traps.
Not my
No, he was
actual
part-
one. It was
he was
Oh,
close
okay,
part
so
of
you
it.
Yeah.
contributed. Okay. I
I
was
mean,
going
they
to say,
tattooed for
That
24 hours
that
straight.
drives me nuts.
Wow.
As somebody, I've worked in tattoo shops, and I know a lot of people in the industry. I have friends that do tattoos. It bugs me. People will ask my opinion on different shops and stuff, and then totally ignore anything I say. Like,
oh, yeah.
yeah, but this one was $50. Yeah, I can tell. Yeah. It drives me nuts. I mean, we've all been there, but it's like if you have someone telling you not to do that,
And you do it anyway.
that's your own fault.
Right.
That's why I tell everyone I can, because I had no one telling me that.
The shop I go to, their logo they have on the wall behind the counter is yes, they're painful and expensive.
Nice.
Like which is true. Shit's not cheap. I'm happy with them, but yeah, I mean, they try not to bullshit you. Like, but
That's-
we all have.
I
we
mean,
all
I
make
can't
mistakes.
I can't recommend Black Lotus like any
Higher
more than
than
I
that.
already did. I mean, it's
Yes.
I've
I've heard great things
Do you
of Black
recommend
Lotus.
the other artists there?
I have not been tattooed by anyone else, but I've seen a lot of the work, and everything I've seen that's come out of there has been very good. But I think the real the thing that makes them a step above like everyone else is just the attitude in the shop. Like,
It's professional.
it's professional, but it's also laid back.
Gotcha.
That was the problem. The place that I went for a long time was that it looked more like a thrift store than a tattoo parlor.
You go in and you feel like you're invading someone's hangout.
Yeah.
Like you're interrupting something. Like, yeah, no, I get it. Every tattoo and piercing shop I've ever been in, you walk in and like the conversation stops and everybody's like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, fuck
And-
you. Are you trying to fucking run a business?
And
like
that's,
they feel
for
like they're
so
good for it.
long that was just par for the course. And ever since Halo opened a shop, I mean, it's like a new standard.
Is he still booked out for like months?
Oh yeah, as far as I know, he's booked out like a year.
I believe that.
I'll probably go to Merv next. He actually
Guy out of the same shop.
yeah, same shop. He actually apprenticed under Blake Becker, who worked out of the same shop that I apprenticed at for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And Blake opened his own shop out in College Park.
Yeah,
called
Blake's done some of Susan's work.
Yeah, so and his Blake does some great old school traditional work, and then Merv learned from him, and then met Halo and learned more from him, and sort of combined it all. And he's got a really cool sort of sketch type style. That's
cool.
I mean, it's really neat. You got to check it out.
I will. I'll take a look there.
But what else we got? We can transition from how bad Suicide Squad was into supposedly how good Doctor Strange is.
Are reviews out for that yet?
There are reviews out. It's trending better than any of the other Marvel movies so far at this point in the game.
I saw a trailer before Jack Reacher last week. And the trailer, there were some scenes in it where I was like, oh my God, that looks amazing. Especially some of the
or the whole 3D shit.
Inception, some of the Inception style stuff was really creative, really interesting. What's the actor's name? Benedict Cumberbatch? Is that who's doing it?
Yeah, I don't know how you say it, but it's got way too many syllables in it.
Is it Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yeah, that's right.
It is, right? Yeah. He's really good. I just watched him in I think The Imitation Game. He's.
Oh, is that good? All I know is Sherlock is amazing.
It's a good historical interesting sort of historical piece. I don't know that it's great, but it's fun.
I was like, that doesn't sound like much of a endorsement, so I might pass on that.
I don't know. I don't know if you find code breaking interesting, then it might be interesting to you. I just read last year, is it Cryptonomicon, which is a famous sci-fi piece on cryptology and stuff like that. And the guy who's in The Imitation Game, the real guy, is... all right, fine.
Have you been to the Cryptological Museum down by the NSA?
I have not, but
that's really neat.
I find that...
If you like that type of
that
stuff,
I
you
might
should go.
find it... I can't do any of it. I'm not going to study it because people who are way smarter than me are into it. I don't really like puzzles that much, but people who are really good at really hard things is interesting to me. So
Dave's really good at really hard things.
I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to set that up. I feel like that was my fault.
He's not defending the insult, so.
The ignorant people are on the left.
It's
Trumpy here would agree.
Yeah.
Right, whatever. I don't know.
I agree
stage
with
left.
you.
I don't know how that works.
Got him.
Let's get to the main event. Stop fucking around.
All right.
Oh, God.
We are,
Here it
8
comes.
days out?
8 days out from what, I wonder?
The apocalypse.
One way or the other.
Yeah. It's do you like your apocalypse blue or red?
I'm gonna ask two opposing questions here. I'm gonna start with Dave. Number one.
Well, hold on. Let's give a little backstory here.
Okay.
There's no backstory to be had.
I mean, there is backstory. People need to know. People that don't know you guys need to understand the quick breakdown of everyone here.
Oh,
So
I'd love to hear my backstory.
no, I'm gonna let everyone.
It's
I'm
pretty
gonna
much
let everyone give.
like
You write your own story.
American History X, right? I mean, that's
See,
right
here
up
it
until
comes.
now,
Right,
just
exactly.
just before.
I'm the only Trump supporter.
Just before his little brother
obviously
gets
I'm a
killed.
Nazi.
Yeah. That scene where you curb stomped that dude was intense.
My name is not Derek Vineyard.
See, you probably
I
go home and masturbate to that movie.
What? It was a classic piece of cinema banned from the movie theaters. Why?
That actually is a very good movie.
It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it's great. No, it's fancy. Yeah, nobody's taking it away from.
And anybody
Edward
that has seen the movie knows it's not pro-national socialist. It's not.
No, it's not. And I wasn't
not
insinuating
pro-Nazi.
it was.
Right, you know.
But anyway, no, what I'm getting at is that like a quick rundown of what everybody's sort of general position is. So I myself tend to be pretty centrist with left leanings on a lot of the social issues, but I suppose you could say right leanings on, more fiscal topics and some of the entitlement things and shit like that. Tristan, I think you're.
I'm a little further left than you are. I think I'm
Yeah.
a pretty bleeding heart liberal. It doesn't mean that people in the Democratic Party don't get a lot of shit wrong, but I I find myself having a hard time to agree with a lot of what the Republican Party has to say these days for a variety of reasons. That doesn't mean there isn't a Republican candidate that I can vote for. I would have voted for John McCain before what's her name got attached.
Palin.
Sarah Palin got attached.
I was actually going to do the same thing.
But I'm pretty far left. I will admit to that.
All right, Dave, if you want to give a quick synopsis.
Similar to you, I would say, except more to the right, particularly on fiscal, national security issues. I tend to be more right-leaning, but social issues, obviously, I'm about as non-interventionist as possible. Limited government. That's me.
Yeah. And
Derek?
Duke?
Derek. Fiscally very conservative. I feel like the government wastes a lot of our money. So fiscally very conservative.
Well, not your money because you don't have a
Tremendously
job.
conservative.
I still pay taxes.
Right.
I pay taxes.
That capital gains tax is a bitch.
Yeah, my capital gains tax. Well, it's less than y'all's taxes. I still pay taxes. But
By the way, I think my chair's blocking most of you, isn't it?
oh, it's all right. Fiscally very conservative. Social issues. I think we have to touch on that when we have a conversation about it because I feel like the Republican Party has this. I don't know. People look at it like they hate gays and they hate abortion and they hate, anybody that doesn't like religion, stuff like that. I feel like the Republican Party is growing out of that. I feel like I fit in that spectrum, whatever the hell that might be. When it comes to social issues, I'm interested to hear the other argument, and I want people to be able to do what they can do, what they want to do. I don't want government leaning on those issues. So I don't know where that stands. If that's technically liberal, if that's more conservative,
You had mentioned that you supported Question 6, the gay marriage bill, back 4 years ago. At least to me, anyway.
He supported it for you.
If I did, it was a mistake.
My big beef.
All those other queers.
No, it
You're
applies.
fine.
No, it applies. I know you're interested in something like that, Dave. And I'll be 100% honest with you. It doesn't bother me at all if somebody gay or lesbian wants to get married. It doesn't bother me at all. It really doesn't. Like, that's so low on the totem pole of things I'm concerned about. If my next door neighbor's gay and he wants to marry his gay boyfriend or whatever, who the fuck cares? I don't. Me
Funny
personally,
thing is,
I
your
don't.
next door neighbor thought you and Dixon were gay.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. But
you guys would make the best couple. That'd be
I
fucking
feel like there's so much bigger issues out there,
Mason-Dixon line.
and I feel like it's a growing newer. They call it like the alt right. You know what I mean? The separate sect from the Republican Party.
Well, the Republican Party in general is a mishmash of different factions.
It's
There is
all
no
over the place. Yeah.
cohesive.
Well, that's the
Right.
thing, though. That's politics in general, and that's the problem we have, is that you end up everybody having to either side with this, like, habitual liar and just generally not. Of course, that would apply to either of them. But
Nasty lady.
what I'm getting is the nasty woman
Well,
or the bad hombre. That's those are our choices.
let me cut
right
you
now.
off, but the mismatch in the Republican Party is much bigger than it is in the Democratic Party.
That's
I
true.
would agree
Bernie
with
Sanders, on paper, got screwed over by Hillary Clinton's DNC, and yet he still supports her. He sucks it up, and he supports his party. You don't see that on the Republican side. I mean, everybody remembers.
Traditionally, you do. This is the only election.
Yeah, this
you
is
don't.
This is an
exception.
anomaly. I mean, this is different than anything
Oh yeah,
else.
I agree with that.
I think the Republicans have been headed for a split for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't want to do it because it's gonna mean a loss.
Yeah.
Like a loss, and maybe several losses in a row.
What-
Democrats as well, but less so. I think.
I think Democrats are looking at a softer split.
Yeah, because I think you're seeing more of the Democrats identifying with the fiscal conservatives. We support all these social issues, but not want to cost billions and trillions of dollars a year. Like, so I think they're headed for a split as well, but I think they're way behind where the Republican Party is. You could see that with Paul Ryan and stuff like that. Like
Yes,
a
Paul
ton
Ryan.
of Republicans who are like, yeah, we really want want to win the presidential election, but maybe not him. I don't fucking know.
What I think hurts the Democratic Party, what's going on right now, is siding with Hillary Clinton. I know she's your, elected one for the presidential race, but with all the information out there now, I mean, Bernie Sanders supporters have every right to be pissed off. They got screwed. They really
Sort
did.
of.
Joe Biden not running was the biggest mistake the Democratic Party ever made because Joe Biden would have walked away with this thing by 20
Joe
points.
Biden has run for president 4 times, and no one ever wanted him.
Yeah, but not after
In
not
the last
after
4
having the
elections,
national.
he's run.
But
He
not
hasn't
after,
even
but not
Because
after
nobody
having
knew
the
who he
national
was.
exposure being the vice president.
Yeah, nobody knew
Like,
who he
he's
was.
You're a Delaware senator.
And to be fair, what has
Ooh,
Joe Biden done
Delaware.
that's worth mentioning in the last 8 years?
Nothing. I'm not
So
saying that.
I'm just curious where the bias comes that he'd run away with this election. I feel like he'd get decimated.
Oh, because he doesn't have he's white. He's been the vice president to a reasonably well liked president. He hasn't done anything wrong in 8 years of
well-liked
exposure.
president.
And he was chair of
Yeah, he's
the Foreign
55%.
Relations
He's
Committee.
he's better liked than any Republican president has been since Reagan. He's a 55. He's dipped
No.
down real low. Look. I mean,
Bush
you've
left
seen
with
the
a
numbers,
54
right?
I think it was a 54 where Bush is now. So
Okay.
it's on par with what Obama is. I'm not.
I mean-
I wouldn't go saying Obama's wildly popular.
I didn't say that. That is reasonably well liked is not wildly popular.
Okay.
I
Those
gotta
are different
absolutely
things.
disagree with the Joe Biden argument. I feel like he would not hold a
I think he'd
candle.
have done fine.
Well, here's the thing that Joe Biden has going for him is that he seems like a super down to earth normal
He's
person
likable.
compared to all these fucking lunatics that ran this year. Like even
He's not a very intelligent guy, though.
Oh, Martin O'Malley. There's another great one.
I mean, to be fair, but Joe Biden, I mean, his comments on
He's folksy. I get what you mean.
his comments on Roosevelt handling the Depression. He got on TV and told the people what was going to happen. Was Roosevelt president when the Depression happened? No.
But you could have made that same argument with George Bush.
No, but his argument
And you
was
can-
that
and-
people look
and
at
you can make-
leaders and they
and-
want leaders to know what they're talking about, and then he segues into this conversation,
And
he
every
has no idea
candidate-
what he's talking
But
about.
you could make that argument for Trump too.
Every candidate who's running
Trump's
this
never
has
claimed
made
to
that
be.
same sort of slip of the tongue. Trump has definitely made mistakes like that. He just then says he didn't and then moves on with
I'd
his
like an
day.
example.
We're not in a place where I'm able to look that up, but I know that he said things that aren't true. What did he? God damn it! What did he say?
There was a lot with the Syrian crisis about second guessing the generals, about knowing better than the generals, those type of things, and then the fact that the military's not doing their job over there, and then not being able to cite examples himself.
Well,
he speaks in general terms.
Well, you look at the Syrian setup, and you can look at what's going on with Russia right now.
Here's the thing. Trump is the horoscope of politics. He will leave everything deliberately vague, and then you can make what you want out of it, which is the reason that supporters can find good in it and detractors can find bad things.
I feel like it's the opposite argument. I feel like he's too concrete, and that's why so many people jump on stuff like he hates Mexicans. He's never said that, but, he sounded concrete in his statement, so people hate him for that.
Well, that's the thing that people like about him is that he's sort of decisive in what he's saying, even if he's not really saying anything. And I think that's the problem I have with him. It's like the whole argument with Hillary and the emails and or Trump and his faults. But it's like, who would you rather have if you were having a heart attack? Would you rather have the heart surgeon that is under investigation for malpractice, or would you rather have the night manager at Wendy's? And it's like,
I feel like that's a really lewd and unfair comparison.
Well, I mean, if the night manager at Wendy's had received a small loan of $1 million, and
I
Well,
think
if the night manager ever got $5
could
million from Saudi Arabia and claimed to be a feminist,
I think
mean,
that
people
I think
look
that,
at that stuff.
I think
you know what I'm
could,
saying?
I think you could go with that comparison. I think it's unfair to finish it with the night manager of Wendy's. I think it's fair to finish it with the CEO of a major real estate company.
oh, it's
A
I'm
very
absolutely
successful real
being
estate
hyperbolic there, but
Oh no, yeah,
Right.
devil's advocate, and I hear you. I heard it. I've been working in the automotive industry for 10 years, and I work with blue collar people, regular people. None of them are Democrat, and there's a reason none of them are Democrat because the Democrats have never helped the blue collar
I
section.
thought they couldn't read.
Well, yeah, maybe I don't know, but But you work with them, and a lot of them, I remember this all the way back to when I was like 16. They said, we need the government to run like a business. And I feel like Trump running a business is speaking to a lot of these blue-collar people, actually in the shit. They're interested in a business guy running. Do you understand
That's a kind of rhetorical thing to say blue-collar people are regular people. Like, I'm not a blue-collar guy. I'm a fucking regular guy. How am I not a regular guy?
What do you mean?
That's what you said. You said, I work with blue-collar people, right?
Yeah,
like, I don't work with my
technically he
hands.
works-
I sit at a desk. I fire off emails all day. I work with HR. Like, I'm not a blue-collar guy. I'm a white-collar guy. How am I not a regular guy? I don't make a ton of money.
Well, I would include you in that group. I'm saying people that go to work.
I'm a
every
Democrat.
day.
I like the Democrats. I think the Democrats have helped plenty of people.
When I say regular people, they're not getting the loophole tax breaks that the $1 million people get, the $1 billion people get. Okay, so that's what I'm including in regular people. Regular people are people I'm including. They're worried about 401ks. They're worried about IRAs. They're worried about retirement.
Well, I think
people
that's
are worried
where
about health insurance and stuff like that.
we need to make that distinction and realize that both parties are full of those people at the very top that are taking advantage of the fact that they have control of the government, and you can't put that down either party.
Like,
Oh,
you've got
no,
George
you can't.
Soros on the left and Charles Koch on the right. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got those people.
But the exemption you can make is that you have a billionaire running now that funded his own, general.
He didn't fund it on. No, he did not fund his own. He's taking donations. He put in a lot of money.
He's taking it in the primary. He didn't take
No,
it
he
in
take
the
it in general. He did.
Doesn't he?
Exactly.
He's still got a website up,
Yes.
taking donations to this day, right? He's got the little
Yes, you
ticker
can
on
pull it up.
top. Like,
Yeah, he's taking it from private people, not from corporations like OPEC, not like Goldman Sachs from the Democrats, not like George Soros from the Democrats.
But those people all donate to the Republican National Committee, who are spending money on Trump. So it does filter in.
Well,
either
I
way.
don't feel like the Republican National Committee is spending a lot of money on Trump. They demanded his loyalty, and then when he got the nomination, they all turned
Every
their
time I
backs.
turn around, I see an RNC ad for Trump, or I see emails
Well,
going
they
after
kind of
Trump
have
left and
to.
right.
They kind of have to now because
Right.
it's the
Well,
only
yeah,
Well,
but
that's how.
Oh,
That's
they
how
are.
the-
They are.
He had to win the primary first,
right.
The
and once he
individ-
did, they threw all that
But I'm
money
saying,
in there.
but I'm saying the primary, he funded his own movement. In the
There's,
primary.
if you look at the campaign
but the
finance reports
insinuation
from the
that
Well,
FEC,
hold on,
it's
hold on.
not
Dave's got
necessarily true.
information on this. He knows. I'm curious.
In the primary, yes, he did put in a good, substantial amount of money in the beginning.
Mhm.
But as the campaign wore on, he stopped putting in as much
Wait.
money and was accepting individual donations.
Real quick, didn't he pay himself back?
Yeah, he was paying his own company from campaign funds. But I don't
Not,
know.
I don't put that as like
I don't know
some
the
huge
specifics
thing.
because they could have been doing campaign work or whatever, which is not illegal, and you're paying people for.
Well, I got to
their
look at it
time.
like the
I don't
Sanders
know the
supporters that spent all that
specifics on
money. What did Sanders go and do when he fell out? That was all because Sanders made a big deal. Hey, I'm only taking personal donations and all that stuff. He drops out of the race. Hillary takes over. He endorses her, even though all that shit he talked about her. And then he goes out and buys that summer
I don't think he
home.
talked that much shit about her. He kind of kept to
Did
his
you
own,
watch the
didn't he?
Democratic
Like,
debates?
He was pretty.
He was
sharp
pretty
on her.
adamant that.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I mean,
in the nature of
releasing
politics, I
those
think you have
speeches-
to.
Well, hold on. Fair question. Did anybody watch both sides debates?
Yeah.
All of them? I know you did.
No, I haven't watched all of them.
You haven't watched all of them? Did you watch?
I've
what did
watched
you
some
watch?
of both.
in the
Some of
primary.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Mikey? Did you watch any of them?
I pretty much skipped all of them because I know
Okay.
it's-
I'm just wondering.
It's a
I'm
lip
wondering what
service
I'm doing.
anyway.
Well, you're an independent anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing-
it's a
nothing I
debate.
can
Lip
do.
service. I get that.
Both sides are going to tell you whatever you want to hear.
Well, the primaries are about moving the farthest to your extreme to your base, so that you can win the primary. And then the general is about moving back to the middle as quickly as possible. That's been the game since
Ever.
the 70s, since
Yeah.
the 60s.
This election.
It's an odd election. I don't even know what's going to happen.
I think that's what's really interesting about it is because as much as Trump scares me as a candidate just because he's grossly unqualified, it is sort of interesting because there's only so much that a president can do. So there is that part of me that is interested because could it possibly shake things up? But I don't like that uncertainty. I don't like
It's rolling the dice.
that's
You're right.
it. I talked about this off air. It's like I don't I don't like uncertainty. It's like I'm not trying to take chances. Certainly not with an entire country. So, I could never vote for Trump, but I'm not going to vote for Clinton. So I mean, it's but it's for different reasons almost.
So you're not voting, or are you voting Johnson?
I'm going to vote Johnson.
Interesting. I read today he's fallen to like 3%.
Yeah.
It's like it's like
he's
down through the floor.
So
And
ethically,
let me be- hold on, let me-
ethically, you're
Not
voting for Johnson.
And what's that?
Ethically, like you're voting for Johnson.
Well,
It's a
not
vote against the two-party system. I think
exactly.
Is
That's
not
all it is.
knowledgeably that you're voting for Johnson. You're ethically,
Well,
both
the thing
sides,
is,
both sides go against core principles of yours. That's why you're just throwing your vote away for some imbecile like.
well, I'm
Johnson.
not throwing.
Oh,
my
I see
vote
what
away.
you're saying, but so if it came down to what was that shitty movie that came out 2 years ago, that Kevin Costner movie, where if it was a national tie and they knocked on your door and they were like, "It's all fucking tied up. You didn't vote, man. What's it gonna be? What's the vote?"
Well,
That's what he's asking.
the whole-
You're doing an ethical objection sort of thing, but they come to your door. They're like, "Mikey, make the call."
Well, the ethical objection applies.
Wait, I want it.
if
I
I
want
had
the
to
answer.
pick, if I had to pick between the three of them, I'd probably still pick Johnson.
Okay.
Just because that it adds enough of the interesting side of Trump.
Fuck it, burn the system down. Yeah, okay.
But
But is it not fair to say? Don't you look at Johnson? You've watched Johnson's speeches, I assume.
oh yeah, he's a fucking idiot, just like Trump or anything. But
well,
it's like
I don't know if I even put him on Trump's level of idiot. The guy is a complete imbecile.
I mean, he was a two-term governor of a state. I mean, you can't be that
He was
dumb.
a two-term
thing is,
government in New Mexico. Okay, so he's a $8 billion real estate guy, and
Well, here's-
everybody likes to call him stupid.
I'll tell you the difference.
But that's an unfair.
I never
argument.
said Trump
I
was
hate to drop
stupid.
the
I think he's a
F-bomb.
genius as
Just
far
like-
as marketing.
Right.
That's the thing. Trump is very good at what he does, and that's real estate, and he does that very well because that's what he inherited. It's what he's always done, and I'm not saying he's only done it well because of the money he inherited from it, but it's like that's what he does well. Everything else he's done, he's failed at. I don't think that necessarily ties into politics, but it's certainly something to consider. Hillary has only done politics, and that is scary because she's only done politics, and politics are corrupt as fuck.
And obviously, I'm a Trump supporter, but to be, and I hate to drop the F-bomb, but to be absolutely fair,
And
fair
balance.
is my F-bomb in my world. Because life's not fair. It's, But to be absolutely fair, Hillary Clinton has been hounded by scandal her whole political life. And I think what people like about Trump is that, look at all the stuff that's being unearthed. You know what I mean? The FBI investigations on the DNC. The FBI investigations with the pedophile guy. I can't remember his name. It's so recent.
That happens every political cycle.
I don't know. It's pretty steep. You know what I mean? The money,
If you run for president, every little bit of dirt that has ever happened.
He did it to Romney.
and
With his tax
it's happened to Trump. I mean,
But
stuff's happened over and over again to him, and it's happened to him since before he was running for any sort of office. Like, scandal is par for the course.
well, this is
right?
the conversation I'm craving because you guys are leaning the other way, and I want to know. I mean, do you trust Hillary more than you do Trump?
Yeah, by a lot.
You do by
yeah,
a lot,
yeah.
even with the whole situation going down.
I think Donald Trump is a brilliant marketing manager. I think he's great at real estate. I think his career has been made in siphoning off personal wealth from his corporate interests. That's why you've seen so many of his corporations and his buildings rise and fall so quickly.
appreciate that.
And why so many of his corporations have quote unquote declared bankruptcy, right? Like, it's easy to say
I
he's gone
appreciate your
bankrupt.
input. What about you, Mikey? Do you trust Clinton more than you do Trump?
Begrudgingly, yes.
Okay.
But more so because it's like it. I mean, I hate to, use these sort of platitudes, but it's like, it's the devil, It's business as usual.
Right.
Like,
you get 4 more years of failed Obamacare
I resent
and the Obama
I
administration.
resent that the Republican Party didn't give me a second option. I'm so angry with them that the
Would you have
best
voted
they
Ted
could come
Cruz?
up with.
Would you
I
have
would
voted
not
Ted
have
Cruz?
voted
I would
Ted
not
Cruz.
have voted Ted Cruz.
Okay,
either.
well, there's your second option. It's gone now, so
But
don't
that's
resent
what-
anything.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, Ted Cruz is
how
awful.
about Tommy Lahren?
Who?
Tommy Lahren
The crazy blonde.
on the
bitch.
Blaze. She's
I'm
hot.
saying I think. Her. Oh, yeah.
What's the matter?
What's that?
Don't like her?
I mean, I don't like her in the same way that I don't like most pundits. Like, it's a face, it's a name, it's a cute diatribe at the end of a show. Like, I don't like her in the same way that most Republicans didn't like Jon Stewart. Like, it's an irritating face that goes with a line
I will say
of.
this. I will say
I
this.
like Jon Stewart, but
Oh, and agree. And Dave weighs heavy. He's very heavy in politics, very Republican, saying he likes Jon Stewart. I always like Jon Stewart. And what did Jon Stewart make a habit of? Making fun of Republicans, right? But you knew if you sat down with Jon Stewart, you could have a conversation with him.
But what Jon Stewart did is he did it intelligently.
Yes.
And he also crossed the line and made fun of everybody.
Yes.
He definitely had that left lean.
Oh,
he's not
absolutely.
as bad as a Bill Maher.
Oh, Bill Maher,
Bill Maher's
forget
a
it.
fucking
Who's
twat.
awful? Who's
The
an
guy's
awful
idiot.
person.
Right.
That is a great comparison for that
And see-
blonde whose name I
And
already
see,
forgot.
with this election cycle, that's what drives me crazy. Because, like, yes, you have conservatives, right? They love Fox News. They're like, yeah, Fox News, that's fact. That's what it is. Well, it comes up to with the liberals, too. It's like, you get your information from Unilad on Facebook, Huffington Post, Young Turks. These are the most liberal bias, the Washington Post. These are the most liberal bias.
You could make that argument too with Breitbart and some of these others
Oh,
on the right.
Breitbart, no, they both exist. And I think that's why this is so heated. I mean, I will be honest. I watch Young Turks. I watch Huffington Post. I definitely subscribed. I'm friends with Milo on Facebook, Milo Yiannopoulos.
Oh, fuck that dude.
I know, but
I just-
very conservative. And Unilad and stuff like that. I try and get both sides of it because that's what any rational human being can do. Imagine yourself as a judge. You have
But that's both sides of
right,
extreme propaganda.
but that's what the elections come to.
No, but here that's the problem with that is like if you have a opinion that is to one side or the other and you only take the extreme from either side and you go, well, this side, I mean, it's a bit extreme, but it's, somewhat on my side. And you go, oh, these fucking loonies over here. That's the problem you have. So it's like
Absolutely.
if you can't go full Fox News and full MSNBC
Or CNN, right?
No, I think CNN
Is not non-biased.
like-
Don't start. That
I would have
crap.
agreed with you until this whole thing with Donna Brazil came out.
Who's
Oh yeah, that's some shit.
CNN.
who's in the middle? Is there anybody?
There is no one in the middle. Have you
NPR
watched
maybe?
Rachel Maddow on MSNBC?
I'm not
Have
making a
you
case
watched
for
Wolf
MS. I'm not
Blitzer?
I'm not making a case for
No,
MSNBC.
I'm not attacking
Is there
you.
anybody?
No, I'm not attacking you. I'm saying it for the public. Have you watched MSNBC with Rachel Maddow? Have you watched Wolf Blitzer on CNN?
Yep.
The bias is ridiculous. It's
I'm
absolutely
not
ridiculous.
disagreeing. So there's nobody who doesn't have a bias.
But as a conservative and as a Trump fan, when I tune into Fox News, there's information I'm privy to, and I watch Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity. They talk about stuff I'm like, or what's the broad's name? The blonde chick.
Gretchen Carlson? No, she
No.
Or didn't they all get
Well,
molested
Megyn
and
Kelly.
leave?
Megyn Kelly. And I watched that and I'm like, that's not true.
Oh, wait, can I ask
Like,
you
I
a
know
quick
that
question?
information. So it's so biased now and it's so split that's why you can't talk to your friends about it anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Everybody's.
the
It's the.
newspapers. That's what I
It's the
do.
confirmation
Yeah.
bias. Everybody just seeks out news that tells them what they want to hear.
Well, it's like when
Yeah.
your friends ask you, who do you support? And I say Donald Trump. And they're like, well, you must hate black people. I'm like, no, I actually don't. I'm best friends with a black guy. I live with a separate black guy. Like, it's, not making excuses. I won't do that. But it's so separated now.
Right.
That's why I think there's
That's
still
the problem.
value in print media these days because they're not as ratings based. Like
Yeah, 'cause
with,
no
with
one's reading
sharing
them.
on Facebook, anything you could put anything down there, and if it's inflammatory enough, it'll get shares
And that's
views
the thing.
and whatever.
People read it on
It's the
Facebook
same
and
with
they're
cable
like,
news.
fact.
But I read the New York Times,
Very
the
liberal.
Washington Post,
Very
my
liberal.
two liberal papers, and I read the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Times. And between all of that, I kind of know where I
You
am.
draw your own conclusion.
But they're not.
Yes.
They're midline on both sides, and from there I can make a
I got to
determination
disagree
on
with
issues.
you on the New York Times and the Washington Post.
I think they're centrist Democratic papers.
Yeah,
They are. Washington Post endorsed Ehrlich. They've endorsed Republicans left and right before
Hey,
on local elections.
Let me ask you guys something. What do you think of like the fact check pages on the internet? You know, like Snopes and PolitiFact and shit like that.
Those are as good as their sources.
They're subjective. I think they're subjective. I think that they're probably more often than not good tools to use. But I think that it's too easy to go to sit there if you're a fact checker, because nobody's unbiased. There's just no such thing.
Agreed. Absolutely.
And then write this saying definitively, oh, well, this is a lie, this is truth.
Mm-hmm.
There are always shades of gray in politics and in anything in
50
government.
of them.
I tend
We'll find out later.
to like, what is it? Is it factcheck.org or whatever? I tend to like
PolitiFact
them.
is one.
Is it PolitiFact? There's
PolitiFact.
one of them that I like because I mean they source all their shit.
I try
Like,
to
you can
stay away
look-
from
But you could find another source.
like obviously political ones.
You can do that.
All right, now that the racist is going,
Trump, 2017.
Make America pee again.
Make
So-
America white again.
what? Sneak on by in your sweet cardigan.
Dave, what does the country look like 36 months into a Trump presidency?
Have you seen Waterworld?
That might be regardless of who's president. I'm not gonna.
All right, let's not continue too much of the political talk while he's not here. But I will say, what is more of a apocalyptic wasteland? The environment in Waterworld or Waterworld the movie?
I like Waterworld the movie. I mean, I know I would, but like, I like
I'm
it.
a Kevin
It's kinda-
Costner
It's
fan.
kind of fun. Like, I think it's fun. It takes place in a unique like world. Like, it's a little too long.
Water
but it's
Mad
fun.
Max?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's
kinda
like if
fun. It's
Australia
different.
was suddenly underwater.
They go to like that like floating sort of area where they could buy things and like I don't know. I find that kind of interesting.
By the way, this is the short reprieve for anybody that's like, ugh, fucking politics.
can we mark it on YouTube? Like,
Yeah, I'll
fast
just
forward
put
to chat about
annotations.
Waterworld.
Put annotations on the YouTube video where I'm just like, all right, if you want to skip everything political, and it just skips right to the end where the song kicks in, and it's like, and we're done.
Yeah, I like Waterworld. What's the other Kevin Costner End of the World? Oh, The Postman. That's right. That one's not good. But
No, that was just what's the Mel Gibson Braveheart? That was just, is he? He's going out for a cigarette break. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure.
yes, we're gonna lose him for a while.
All right.
We
Well,
tried.
is there
It's
anything
almost the end
else?
of the show.
Oh shit, we're getting there.
Yeah, well, we probably got 10 minutes left.
So,
I did want to ask him one more question that's important to me to ask. But we could talk about something else while he's gone.
All right.
Vine shut down. Are you sad?
Nope.
Are you just like I was surprised that like I was a little surprised that it was like a big deal. I didn't know Twitter had bought them. But I was kind of surprised that like the tech world was like, "Oh no, Vine's shutting down." Like I kind of thought we were all over Vine.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder about a lot of social media in the same way as that, where I'm like, why is this popular? Because I make the argument like, why is Instagram popular? It is Facebook without anything else. It's only pictures.
Which I get these days.
Yeah. And then eventually it evolved into something that made more sense. Or Twitter is my big gripe, where it's like, oh, so you have Facebook, but with limited characters, and you really can't like things. It's not totally functional, and yeah, there's really nothing. It's kind of like owning a Jeep, where it's like, oh, it's a Jeep thing, oh, it's a Twitter thing. There's nothing measurably good about it, but you like it anyway.
I like Twitter a lot for like I was on it for maybe a year and a half or 2 years. Like, and this was before the images got really big. Like it was almost pure text. You could link to an external image, but it was almost pure text. So it didn't have all of the kind of interruption. The problem with Facebook is it's such a mess right now, right? You got pictures of your friends' kids. You got political memes. You got garbage jokes. You got ads. You have like there's 66 different things that are coming at you on Facebook, as opposed to Twitter was for a time just text. Maybe it was jokes. Maybe it was news updates. Maybe it was, quotes. Who knows what it was? But it was just text. And that, to me, was kind of was interesting. I could kind of get through a lot more news and content a little bit faster. And I think Vine was kind of an interesting fit with that. But it's so fucking weird. I never got it. Like, the whole 6 seconds of comedy thing. I don't know what else you would use it besides tiny little comedy bits.
Exactly. I never liked Vine other than I can't remember his name. The guy from Mad TV.
I know, the Kenny it's not Kenny Chesney, it's not Kenny Loggins.
Rogers.
Kenny Rogers, the gambler. You left.
We put it on hold.
We'll go back.
Oh, I'm
Don't
sorry.
worry.
I'm trying to jump in.
You're okay.
I'm that guy.
We're talking about Vine shutting down.
He's like, I'm trying to grab this conversation by the pussy.
Give me that.
So, anyway, I don't know if you knew.
No, I wasn't trying to change the subject. I was trying.
No. I was going to drag you into this conversation before we go back to the apocalypse. So, Vine shut down.
What's Vine?
Nobody cared.
Yeah.
See.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay.
But we were talking about the variations in social media and pros, cons, whatever. And I was saying how Facebook pretty much already had everything and slowly added anything that was different.
Yep.
Yeah.
So why does anybody bother with anything else? My particular gripe was with Twitter because it seemed to be the most limited.
Well, if you look at Twitter stock, ever since, and not to bring the conservative argument into it, but ever since they banned Milo, and he kept pushing it out, Milo Yiannopoulos, in case you guys don't listen to him, he's like a troll, right-wing, crazy. But he had an argument about, I forget her name, but she was in the Ghostbusters movie. They labeled him a racist, even though he only dates black guys, stuff like that, because he was critiquing the movie. If you look at his statement, it was just critiquing the movie. Now, you're going to have your crazies. You're going to have the people that follow him, and they're like, yeah, fuck black people, they're all bastards and all that other stuff. They banned him for that because he was like, I forget the term they used, but it was like breeding hate or something like that.
Inciting hatred.
So, inciting hate, yeah, something like that. And what happened to free speech? Is the question.
Exactly. I would agree. I hate Milo. He is a fucking.
But he has a right to say what he wants to say.
Exactly.
Twitter
There's
also
no
has
reason.
a right as a
Absolutely.
company to determine what's on their website.
Well,
Right, but the thing
yes,
with Twitter
but
is they don't ban like jihadists.
and
They're a private company.
and the
and the
BLM
Republican
guys
in
talking
me is
about
saying
killing.
leave the private company alone.
But they had the BLM woman in what do you call it, Ontario? I can't remember her name because it's some African long whatever. No, not being shitty. I can't remember it. But she was talking about killing only white cops, and Twitter allows her.
I'm not agreeing with that
well,
policy.
well,
I'm just saying.
And
that
as a person that
in
makes
the
a
free
living,
market,
as a
something else
person
will
that
come up.
makes a living on the market, I've made a lot of money on Twitter because as soon as they banned Milo, I sold there and it dropped. It plummeted. And now the CEO is desperately trying to sell Twitter and no one wants it. And it's because it reminds me, we want to get back to the Nazi whatever the hell. It reminds me of Hitler's brown shirts. It does. The SA going around beating up people, silencing the other person's
I will
voice.
say that is probably one thing that I'll agree with you on all this, is that because of how divisive everything has become in politics this round, it has created this sort of like hyper left where you got the which was always
Militant
sort of there.
almost.
It's militant.
Yeah, it's always sort of been there, but it's like it's so much more prevalent.
Somebody
than,
pulled a knife on a Trump supporter down at Bain Center yesterday.
See?
Wait,
At the
I
early
want to
voting center. It was on the news.
I want to pull back to something that I find kind of interesting, and Dave touched on it here. So I'm a big Reddit user, and Reddit's going through a lot of the same kind of growing pains over the
Yes.
last couple of years,
Yes.
right?
Possible
Reddit
issues.
is you can create any community that you want, right? And anybody can subscribe to it.
Right.
And there's a lot of great communities there that are doing lots of interesting
But
things,
there's an
lots of
absolute
interesting research.
lack of fact checking.
And what's that?
There's an absolute lack of fact checking on Reddit.
Oh, this isn't about politics, okay? Relax.
Okay.
Relax. So
Nobody's stressed.
there are people doing, there's a history
Nothing but
subreddit that's doing interesting
deplorables on
stuff.
there.
There's a great motorcycle subreddit. Like there's subreddits for everything, okay? And lots of them are doing lots of really good work. But there are some that are doing really awful shit, right? There's ones that are just making fun of people, just racist subreddits and just subreddits about, killing cops and stuff like that, right? So the people that own Reddit are having a hard time figuring out, what do we do here? Are we a bastion for free speech, or are we a corporation that wants to make a lot of money?
If you want to be a corporation that makes a lot of money, you are a bastion for free speech.
Do you think so?
Absolutely.
I don't
Twitter,
think that,
Twitter
there
has
is
proven it.
nothing true about that statement.
Twitter has proven
It does not make sense from a if you look at sponsorships.
You've
and things
given
like that.
one
If you
example.
Look, if you look
Ed.
at actual money transpiring on the stock market, Twitter has proven it. As soon as you start,
That is
Yeah,
one
but Twitter
example.
is
It's one
Twitter's a
massive
terrible
example. Twitter's
a
massive.
terrible example because Twitter's been around for what, 9 or 10 years
been
now,
on a
and they
steady
have
decline
yet to
for a
really monetize the platform.
are you kidding me? Their
It's-
peak was
they're-
in 2013.
They're
What did they ban
they're
Milo?
still running on venture
They
capital.
banned Milo in 2015.
But here, that's the thing, though. So that is one example where somebody went down after stepping all over free speech. Everything else, when somebody gets too outspoken and they don't address it properly, that's when you see the downfall.
I think it's more easily explained, but at least Twitter falling or whatever, from what you were talking about earlier when we were just talking about social media. I hate Twitter. I never liked Twitter. It was pointless to me, and I think
I've
people
never had a
finally
Twitter
got to
account.
that
So I'm,
point.
so I'm going to ping you with an extreme example. So you own Reddit, okay?
An extreme example
there's
that's
a-
factual,
and there's a
not
subreddit.
hypothetical, I'll have this conversation. If it's hypothetical, I'm not having it. Not being shitty, I'm just saying I don't work in hypotheticals.
Okay,
Right.
that's fine.
I'm a money plus or a money negative kind of person. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I mean, you kind of,
I did
Unless
until you
it's-
said that.
unless it's reality, you kind of have to get hypothetical.
So, okay, I'll give you a real example. So, in it, there is a subreddit that, after police officers take action, the subreddit is devoted to finding the personal details of those officers so that the people involved in that subreddit can commit harassment campaigns against those officers.
See,
Do you continue to support that subreddit?
if they want to harass somebody,
Yeah.
no,
Why not?
because harassment is illegal.
So, what do you do with the subreddit?
Well, having not
You
used
shut it
Reddit-
down?
Not having not used no,
But that's free
No, you can
speech.
keep going. Yeah, you can have your
But-
free speech, but in a legal platform, it has no bearing. It's not legitimate.
But they're using your site to put together
but your
these.
site isn't-
They
your
call it
site isn't-
brigading, right?
yeah,
And
but
they're
your site
using
is-
your site to put together these mass harassment campaigns of police officers. Do you continue to let that activity continue on your site?
I beg your pardon. You got to elaborate because I've never used Reddit. So explain to me a little bit more.
It's
how
basically
the
like an
situation would be.
an extensive forum, right? Like people talking back and forth to one another. Who's the officer in this video? Oh, well, we can see these details. Oh, I know who that officer is. Here's his badge number. Here's his address. Here's where his wife worked. Let's make sure that we
And
know
that's
that
not
we're
illegal.
unhappy with him.
It's-
Let's email
outside
his
the legal
let's
realm.
email his
It's
kids.
not- it's not
let's
illegal.
post
It's not
things on their
illegal,
kids'
you should
Facebooks.
allow that. If it's not illegal,
So
you
if
should
you
allow
own
that.
Reddit, you allow that behavior to continue.
Yes.
And if I was a
Okay.
sponsor, I would pull out immediately.
And
I would
Okay.
want my ads on that.
That's the problem.
well,
That's the problem we're talking about, and the whole
But-
political spectrum or financial. It's you're allowed to have your opinion, but anyone else is allowed to have their opinion about your opinion.
Well, what you're getting into is the intolerant left is what.
No, that's on the right too.
Well, I'd like an example of that. Where's the right silenced left media? Ever.
I'm not talking about just purely media. I'm
Okay,
saying
well, maybe
just.
we're talking about something different.
I'm just saying in general. Like, if
How did the left silence the right media?
I don't know, hiring goons to assault women at Trump rallies, and that's come out. That's factual. That's not Trump propaganda.
If you're
That
talking
has
about
happened.
just finding who the nut jobs
Well,
on either
well,
side
here,
are,
I'll
those exist.
I'll elaborate. Yeah. Oh, are you asking me to say there's not nut jobs on both sides? I'm not going to defend that. Of course, there's fanaticals on both sides. What I'm saying is that the DNC sanctioned people to go assault Trump fans.
The DNC paid people to assault Trump fans. That's a real thing you're saying happened?
It's proven in black and white. Yes.
Okay.
There's a bit of
I
obscurity.
hadn't heard that.
Or
That's,
as Ed would
that's
say,
what you're
no,
saying
no,
proven in
happened.
what?
It was a DNC like lieutenant who coordinated with someone else who coordinated with someone else who did whatever. It's not like the DNC chair said, "Okay, this is our big plan to do all this stuff."
Well, and not
I agree,
being
something
personal,
happened.
not being personal, but this is what I'm talking about. The problem with the Republican Party, as a representative of the Republican Party, he's defending the other side when it's in black and white.
No, because you
Because
have
I don't
to.
think that's in black and white. And I live,
regardless of what
It's
your
in
opinion.
the emails and it's in video and audio recording.
No, Ed. The difference here is
Has no
you-
one seen this? Am I crazy?
you
No, I
had-
haven't.
Haven't seen
I,
it?
I haven't seen that, but I believe you.
No, I can show you the video. When the
No,
podcast
I
is
believe-
over,
I
I'll
believe
show
it.
you the video.
No, I believe you. But the thing is, you have to appeal to reason, no matter what side you're on. There's an extreme on either side, and there is a middle ground that wants to exist,
Yes.
but it
Yes.
can't because
I ag-
anybody is defending the extreme position on either side of their views.
You and me are on the same page. I agree with you. I like the free speech of everybody else. But when I see a high-paid place like the DNC and a highly sponsored place like the DNC paying goons to go assault Trump fans and block the streets so Trump can't get in there and all
what
that
about
stuff.
Trump telling people
let me
to
finish.
attack?
Let me finish. What it drives me crazy.
That's a
what
good
it,
point. I'll pay your legal fees.
No, what it
Forgot about
reminds
that.
me of, what it reminds me of, was the communist rise in Germany when they were poverty-stricken, and the National Socialist Party, the Nazis. And what did the brown shirts do? They had more muscle, and they went around and they silenced people through physical force and scare. And that's what the DNC strikes me as, is what's going on right now. It's oppressing free speech, and America. That's
We've
why it's
gone-
the First
we've-
Amendment is the most important thing.
Nobody's oppressing the rights free speech. I'm sorry.
It's an attempt.
Look, Ed, I understand your frustration, and particularly coming from your point of view. But I would counter with what I was trying to say earlier. When you have a presidential candidate from a major party inciting, telling, encouraging his people at his rallies to go and punch protesters in the face that are being peaceful,
I would like
and saying
one
he'd
example
like to
of
pay
that.
their legal fees.
He
It
said
was
it.
I would like
everywhere.
one
He said it
example of
into
No,
a microphone.
Yeah.
He physically said it.
Yeah,
This is-
he said it.
Yes, to pay the legal fees. After that particular guy that was a Trump supporter was already assaulted by a liberal. That happened.
Two wrongs-
These are facts.
Two wrongs make a right.
No, it's not hearsay. It's on
2016.
videotape. No, it's on videotape. A liberal assaulted this guy. He defended himself. They both got arrested, and Trump said, "I'll pay their legal fees." This is not my opinion. I watched it happen on videotape. Am I crazy?
We've gone
did
too deep.
anybody
We've
see
gone
the
too
video?
deep.
It's on the
I have
internet.
one question for you.
It must be true.
No, it was actually videotaped by
I'm
my
fucking with
girlfriend
you.
when she was at the RNC rally.
What happens if Hillary Clinton gets elected? What does the next 12 months look like?
Well, see, this is the problem. Everybody, and the big problem is everybody's so divided, right?
Yep.
If you're liberal, if you're Republican, you automatically got to hate each other. Don't hate each other.
Not true. Well,
Well,
yeah, I don't
with
hate
liberals, you're
Republicans.
right.
I don't
With
hate you.
No, I know. You're right. With liberals, yes, you got to hate Republicans. But
See, it's
I disagree.
Yeah,
with
see,
weak,
that is
it's
that,
weak reasoning like
that's
that
the bullshit
that causes the division.
Yeah, that's
I would
exactly
say that
right.
there are
My
ultra conservatives
reasoning-
who believe that you need
my
to hate every
reasoning
Democrat.
comes from experience. If I put a Trump sign out in my house in Catonsville, I can't imagine the repercussions.
You're,
Because it's so
you're telling
bipartisan.
me
So you're
that,
the
that people,
you're the persecuted minority at this point.
Absolutely. No, I'm not the persecuted minority. I am the majority. I'm affected by the minority.
Really?
Violently, yes.
What majority are you in?
by the majority, I'm the majority of working class people.
I don't even know where to go from
I
here.
don't either. We've gone too deep. That's the problem. Answer the question. What does the 12 months preceding a Hillary win look like?
Well, here's the thing. Everybody thinks that, oh, well, this dies with Trump. This movement dies with Trump. No, this has been going on.
Right?
I mean, the left can stand on something like Obamacare that's great for everybody. It's horrible for
You're not
small
answering the
business.
question.
No,
Answer the
I'm
question.
elaborating. I'm elaborating.
No, you're not. You're
deflecting.
diatribing. You're deflecting. What does
Okay.
the 12 months in a post-Hillary election look like?
We will
Do they revolt?
revolt? No.
Is there an armed revolution?
No, we will accept because we're hardworking people and we'll get over it. But your next election, you won't make it through.
Can I just mention
Yep.
What?
you don't have a job right now?
Can I just mention? I probably pay more taxes than Mikey, Mr. Cash under the table bartender. I probably
Not-
pay more taxes than you, Mikey.
Not in Nottingham's.
Okay, I'm just saying.
When you say we won't make it through the next election, do you just mean that'll be the last Democratic win, and
If Hillary wins,
the Republicans will rise up in the
not
next
doing that.
one?
She will not be an eight term.
Oh,
or
no-
an 8 year.
no matter-
No, I agree with you.
Either way, we're having a one term.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I just didn't know what that meant. Did that mean
That's
that
exactly what I meant. Is that
you-
she'll get through her 4 years, and we'll put up with it. But the working class person is suffering under Democratic rule. We can't put up anymore. I'm not a billionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I don't dodge taxes. I have to pay my taxes. I can't do it under Democratic rule. I can't do it under Obamacare. You know how much Obamacare cost me last year? $12,000. $12,000 because I wasn't insured for 6 months. That's what it cost me. That's the Affordable Health Care Act.
I got you?
It's failing.
The bipartisan
It's
Affordable
failing.
Health Care Act.
It's
Bipartisan
failing the
how?
middle
You have
class
one.
people. It's failing
One
the middle class
Republican vote for it.
people.
No, I'm saying it's because it's a bastardization of an initial plan, which
How long do the Democrats own the Senate?
It's a bastardization of a plan that Romney supported in a state like Massachusetts, where any movement towards a free market system was a good thing. I mean, there were only 2 Republican senators in the entire Massachusetts Senate. If that's what you're getting at, I wouldn't call it anywhere near a bipartisan approach
Yeah,
for a proposal.
yeah, that's absolutely also hyperbolic. I'm trying to. The thing is, it's a joint problem that we are so much farther from addressing because all we're doing is shouting each other from different banks of a river and accomplishing nothing. And
Who
the
do you
and the
think
thing
will pull down that joint problem better? Somebody that's bought and paid and has been for the last 3
certainly
decades?
not the night manager from Wendy's.
So you look at him as a night manager from Wendy's.
No,
We're
but
going to have
I
gridlock
wanted to
for 4
bring that
more
back
years,
around.
no matter what. I don't think either of them can do it. I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of Hillary Clinton. I actually really do not like Hillary Clinton. But
Can
I'm
they
not a fan
not
of Trump
nominate a
either.
Supreme Court justice
There is
for
no
4 years?
requirement. There is no requirement.
They could just not do it.
Yeah, but
for
then you're
4
going to have a
years.
hung court for four. For
We
4
may
years.
never have another
Oh,
one
yeah.
again. That's fucking nutty.
I think that's what's ultimately the scariest about it. It's not one side or the other. It's just, holy shit, how did we get to this point?
Compromise is a dirty word. It's terrible. It shouldn't be that.
Burn
way.
it down. Start again.
Ugh,
Can we go?
We are close to that point.
Can we go?
Let's just
I'm
just
done.
end it.
I need a
Let's
cigarette.
just go.
Epic.
I love you guys. This is fun, sort of.
Oh, I love political
Uh,
talk. It stresses everybody out.
Ah, yeah. Who needs a drink?
Now you know
I've
why
been
I'm
drinking the whole
80.
time.
I need,
Hey.
yeah, I need 5 more.
All right.
We'll
anyway,
we'll be funny next week.
Yeah. So if you're depressed right now, don't worry. I'll throw in some random thing of Dixon jumping across the screen in the video. So check that out, because that's going to be only a reprieve from this whole of a conversation that we've had.
Let's
Anyway, we're coming
let's
up.
shoehorn in an episode of Rick and Morty right in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, either way, we can stress to our followers that they got to get out and vote.
I
And
agree.
be informed.
Be
And don't
informed.
just vote the top of the ticket.
Absolutely.
Yes. If you have an opinion, make it an informed one.
Vote your ethics.
Look into the candidates. find out what you agree with, make sure that is why you're voting.
Fucking read something.
Those
Yeah.
ballot questions, those Board of Education races, those city council races will affect you more than the presidential race ever will.
Absolutely.
That's true.
And if you don't know about those,
Then
don't
don't
vote
vote.
on those. If you really have an opinion one way or the other, vote presidential, skip any of the stuff you don't know about,
And vote Trump.
and go hang yourself. So, anyway, it's been a very interesting. We've definitely
It
taken
was
this.
interesting. It was a good conversation.
We've taken this to a whole different level. This is so much more
Intellectual.
intense. We should talk about Hennessy or something.
Yeah.
Or big,
And our
big,
ex-girlfriends
big
and how much
booty
we
bitches.
love them.
Big booty bitches and Hennessy. But anyway, thank you for watching the Last Call podcast. Thank you for Tristan for hosting it with me.
Thanks.
Thank you for Dave and the racist
Can
ass
we get a
Ed
cheers
for
real quick
joining us.
before it's over? Derek.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Derek, yeah. What's the last name?
Vineyard.
Derek Vineyard. Thank you for Gayve and Derek Vineyard. I'm going to put that on the YouTube video, by the way. Thank you to everyone for
Suffering through this.
tuning into this shit show. We appreciate all of you. Why?
You gotta go
Fucking
home. Can't
Derek
stay here.
Vineyard's going to have some more from his vineyard and drink another glass of wine, you fucking
Because
freak.
I'm classy
Hey,
as fuck, man.
Anyway, take it easy. We'll see you next time.
Bye.